Welcome back to another episode of Holistic Health is Hot. Today we're talking about what I'm not doing to get in the best shape of my life. If you don't know, I am getting in the best shape of my life in a healthy way. I've gotten in the best shape of my life in a very unhealthy way when I was auditioning for pro dance teams and I was vegan and just very, very unhealthy. So I'm excited to kind of continue to share my journey with you on doing it in a healthy way. So if you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, you should, because every single Monday I'm giving an update on progress pictures, how I'm doing, what I'm planning out, what I'm not doing, all of the things. So even more detail every single week. So highly recommend. And you get a free habit tracker. So I think it's kind of a win-win. So the link is in the show notes. So if you want to be included on that, but let's get into the episode. Welcome to Holistic Health is Hot, where your journey to sculpting your dream body meets holistic health. I'm your host, Ashley Roberts. Here, we're going to chat about mindset hacks that have completely transformed my life and dive deep into nutrition and movement that will help transform yours. We're going to get into the intense connection between mind, body, and soul so you can glow from the inside out. Let's get into it. And remember, holistic health is hot. Okay, so before we dive into what I'm not doing to get in the best shape of my life, I want to give you a little update. And so by the time this episode comes out, I'm stating now that I was very productive this last week and I showed up for myself. I did what I said I was going to do. But the week before that, I was struggling, okay? I was on my period. Some emotional stuff was coming up for me. Just a lot of personal things were affecting how I was feeling, and that made it really hard for me to show up for myself. I also did not plan anything. I literally did not plan a single thing. I was just oh, I got this. I'm a health and fitness coach. We're good. No, wrong-o. If I just wanted to maintain being healthy, but with where my body fat percentage is and where I want it to be, I have to take it one step further, truly. I'm still doing it in a healthy way, but I'm tracking my macros every once in a while to make sure that I'm actually doing it. Make sure I'm actually putting myself in a calorie deficit, because again, I don't have a lot of weight to lose. So, and losing 5 pounds is harder than if you needed to lose 20 pounds, just because of how granular and more specific you need to get. So I made sure that I planned everything out. I planned all my breakfast, all my lunches, all my dinners. I've got all my ingredients to make those things. I've scheduled in my calendar when my walks are. I've scheduled when my workouts are, planned out my workouts. So we are ready to go this week, okay? So I'm feeling good and excited about that. My body, no changes. I think, maybe I've lost a pound, but it's not a pound of fat, it's water weight, because I was on my period and I'm always a little bit bloated, a little bit heavier, and then now I'm not. So yeah, my body just kind of has evened itself out again, but I'm excited and hyped for this week that I have everything planned out, So, all right. But anyways, that's a quickie little update, but let's get into the episode. So the first thing I'm not doing is I'm not restricting myself. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying I can't have dessert. I'm not saying that I can't do anything that I want to do, because me especially, I have a history of eating disorder. I have a history of, really having an all or nothing mindset. And so for me, it's really important that I don't feel this scarcity mindset or this lack of I can't have dessert, I can't have this, or else that's all I'm going to think about. So for me, I'm allowing myself to have dessert, but what I'm going to do, or what I am doing, is choosing to have a healthy version of dessert. Because yeah, I could eat Ben & Jerry's ice cream, but I'm going to feel like shit. It's super high calorie, super high sugar compared to if I just had a couple dates or, some sort of yogurt bowl with a couple chocolate chips. That is very calorically and nutritionally different than eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And it honestly does the same thing. I think we get in our heads to be it's not the same. It's not the same. But honestly, depending on what your goals are, sometimes you do have to make sacrifices. And I don't even look at it as a sacrifice. It's just a shift, okay? And for the time being, Ben & Jerry's isn't fitting into what I want to do. I'm not saying I won't have it every once in a while if I'm I need this. But for the most part, if I'm wanting dessert, I'm just going to make sure that I'm, eating something in a way that feels good for me. Number 2 of what I'm not doing to get in the best shape of my life is I'm not hoping that I'm going to take aligned action. Like I said, last week, I was like, I'll get it done. No worries. I'll get it done. Easy peas. Wrong. I did not plan, so I did not take aligned action. And I kind of had this realization. I was like, okay, how I'm showing up is not getting me to my goal. I need to change my goal or I need to change my actions. And so I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to change my actions so I can actually get to my goal. And it's not about me being like harder, stricter, whatever. It's just making the conscious effort to make sure that the food I'm putting in my body is getting me into a calorie deficit. And that takes some planning. That takes a little bit of preparation. To ensure I'm getting my workouts in, I need to allocate time. I need to know what workouts I'm doing, because if I'm like, okay, yeah, I hope I'm going to work out today, you're already giving yourself an out in your mind. Like, you think I'm actually going to do it? Hell no. So that's all I have to do was plan my workouts in, schedule it into my calendar so I know I'm going to get them done. It's very, very simple. It might not be easy, but it's simple. And I think that's where we fall short is we're just like, yeah, I hope I get there. I hope that I take the action that needed to get there. It's like, no, you either take the action or you don't. There's not like this gray area. It's like, are you doing the things that you need to get there or are you not? And that's why I'm actually treating myself as a client so I can kind of share that with you on my social media platforms. And I'm doing that because I want to show you what it's kind of like being inside Vitality, my one-to-one coaching program. And so in the Vitality app, I'm, putting my weight in. I'm checking off, when I meditate, I'm checking off when I, do any other habits. I'm tracking my macros in there. So I can see a complete full picture of why I'm making progress or why I'm not. Because clearly it's like last week, okay, I didn't track my macros. I didn't work out as I planned to. I wasn't doing anything to actually get me to my goal. And what you can do with looking at all that data is like, okay, did you track your macros? No. Okay, did you work out? Not as much as I wanted to. And so it's like, it's very black or white. It's not an emotional thing. It's like, are you doing the things or are you not? And so I realized I was not doing things to get to where I wanted to go. So I had to change my action and my goals. And I was like, okay, no, I'm not giving up on getting in the best shape of my life. I just need to adjust the action that I'm taking. What's up, guys? I hope you're loving this episode. I wanted to take a quick second to offer you something special for podcast listeners only. If you're someone who is a high achiever or craving discipline and transformation, you're ready to lose weight and leave old habits behind like food guilt, constant bloat, and body negativity, ready to embrace a new identity and become absolutely obsessed with your body in your life for life, then listen up. Vitality is my one-to-one coaching program where you will get in the best shape of your life for life. You will feel absolute food freedom and feel proud of your food choices, aka no more food guilt. You will feel energized, motivated, and excited to wake up every single morning to do your cute little morning routine. You will feel sexy AF in a bathing suit all year round and have the confidence to sprint to the front of every single photo. Your routines and workouts will light you up and you will radiate confidence and magnetism in every aspect of your life. If you're ready to get in the best shape of your life for life, then DM me the word Vitality on Instagram and we can chat about getting started. I'm so excited to work with you. Okay, back to the episode. The next thing that I'm not doing to get in the best shape of my life is I'm not being mean to myself. I think so often we can confuse discipline with being mean to yourself. And there's a big difference because discipline is self-care. Discipline is showing up for yourself, keeping the promises to yourself, where being mean to yourself is like, if you don't do something, you're like, how could you do this? How dare you? Like, you're not showing up for yourself. I knew you were never going to amount to anything, and going down that rabbit hole. And so I'm not doing that. Even though last week, I was like, ugh, like I'm disappointed that I didn't show up for myself in the way that I wanted to. But instead of being mean to myself, I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this so I can be different next week? And what I learned was I have to plan everything out or it won't get done. That is just who I am as a human. I think everyone, in my opinion, needs to plan things or it will not get done if you don't allocate time. But maybe you're a different kind of human. But I don't believe that is actually possible if you don't allocate time and schedule it into your calendar. Unless you like have a routine of every single day I do this, every single day I do this. But at the end of the day, that's a ritual. So I'm going to be my own biggest cheerleader. Even though last week didn't go as planned, and I probably ate Ben & Jerry's ice cream a little bit more than I wanted to. I didn't work out as much as I want to. I didn't eat the way that I wanted to. I'm not like, okay, I guess I can't do this anymore. It's like, no, I just need to reevaluate what my values are and how I'm going to get there. And I'm being my own biggest cheerleader. I'm like, okay, Ash, like, yeah, we didn't do what we wanted to last week. Doesn't mean I'm giving up on you. Doesn't mean this is like, okay, shoot, oh well, can't do it. It's like, okay, cool. What do I need to do to get there this next week? What can I learn from this? And when you take everything from a learning experience, it makes your journey and life so much easier because you're not so hard on yourself. It's like, okay, what can I learn for this? How can I move forward? How can I get 1% better? How can I improve? Instead of just looking at it as like a pass fail, it's like, no, this is a journey. Let me freaking tell you, okay? And it just takes practice, and it takes, I think that's something I'm really good at helping my clients with, is getting them out of that all or nothing mindset, because it's like just really shifting your focus to pass fail to, okay, what can I learn from this if it didn't go the way that I wanted to? And if you continue to do this week after week of like, I'm not showing up for myself, it's like, okay, something needs to change. And it's either your goals or your actions or your values. And again, all of these can be shifted and moved around. But I'm not changing my goal. I'm just going to change my action. The next thing that I'm not doing to get in the best shape of my life is I'm not drinking. And I'm not saying that you need to stop drinking, because I've gotten in great shape and I was drinking during that time period. And I maintained a very relatively low body fat percentage from drinking, but I'm not drinking every night. I never had a glass of wine every single night. That's not going to get you to your goal. That causes stress on your body. You're going to sleep like shit, and you're not going to want to wake up early. And you need to find a different way to decompress at the end of the day if that's what you're doing. But if you're like, okay, every other weekend I'm going to go drink with friends, or whatever it may be, having a couple drinks here and there, like, that's fine. But you have to be real with yourself. Like, what is important to you? Is getting in the best shape of your life more important to you, or is partying every weekend more important to you? Because you can't really have both. And again, like, I've been in great shape when I was drinking, but I still wasn't drinking a glass of wine every night. I wasn't partying every single weekend. It really comes down to, again, goals, values, action. It really is that simple. And again, I want to reiterate again, you don't have to stop drinking to have your dream body, but it is about looking at your values and kind of looking at what's more important to you. So, and you don't have to cut it out, but you can just be more mindful of it, of like, okay, maybe I don't need a glass of wine to decompress every night. Maybe I need to go to the gym and do a meditation after, or maybe I just need to like call a girlfriend, or maybe you need to take a bubble bath and read a book, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's really about looking at your habits. And with drinking too, it's like, again, I mean, drinking could be a whole separate episode, which I know I said I wanted to do an episode on that, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But anyways, I think you just need to, again, evaluate. And it's not about, again, same with the restricting thing. It's not about restricting. It's just about figuring out how you really want to feel and just allocating your life around that. And yeah, drinking will affect your progress depending on how much you're doing it. It's simple. It really is as simple as that. And again, it's not about cutting it out. It's about figuring out a way that it works with you and your lifestyle. Do you value drinking and hanging out with friends on the weekend, or do you value having your glass of wine every single night? Because you're going to have to kind of pick and choose depending on what your goals are. And again, that also is another piece of it. Is like, me getting in the best shape of my life is different than someone just, wanting to lose a couple pounds or wanting to like start to get healthy. It depends on where you're at and where you want to go. So I almost didn't want to share that piece because I think people get afraid of like, oh, I would never want to give that up to have the body that I want. And I think you don't have to, is what I'm just trying to say. But it does come with, deciding, sacrificing some things, and not all of it, but just maybe not every single day. But again, it really depends on where you are, where you want to go, and all that jazz. So the next thing I'm not doing to get into the best shape of my life is I'm not eating boring food, okay? I think so many people are like, oh, you have to eat this boring chicken, rice, and broccoli to get in the best shape of your life. And just because I'm eating whole foods doesn't mean they're boring. Burger tacos, this salmon bake, these are all so good. Like, all of my food that I'm eating tastes delicious. Like, I'm not one of those people like that wants to eat boring food. I just can't do it. But you can make whole foods taste so freaking good. So I'm not eating boring food, because if I eat boring food, I'm going to start craving other things. And so that's why it's important to kind of like look at what your cravings are. If you're craving a burger, make a healthy version of a burger at home. Ground beef is fine to eat. Maybe have a burger salad. Maybe have like, burger tacos, whatever, but making sure you're making it into a full meal. If you're craving pizza, make it work for you. Have one slice of pizza and a big salad on the side. It's not about depriving yourself, but it's about, and like for me, I don't eat dairy, so I'm not going to go eat a cheese pizza that makes me feel like shit. I'm going to eat dairy-free cheese, making sure I have protein. Maybe I even just have a protein shake before, have the beef pizza, have a salad. Like, it's about making it work for you. But one thing I'm not doing is I'm not eating boring food. Can't do it. Or I'll go crazy and be craving a million other things. So making sure not eating boring food is so important, but also make it in a healthy way. And it's really, again, it's a shift. It's not about completely changing what you're eating. It's about shifting what you're eating and crowding out, maybe the less nutrient dense foods, but that's a whole other topic. The last item that I am not doing to get in the best shape of my life is I am not relying on motivation, okay? So many people are like, I struggle with motivation. I'm like, yeah, everybody does. Motivation comes and goes. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. And you just have to ask yourself what you want more. Do you want to sit on the couch and watch this episode of TV? Or do you want your dream body? Just what do you want more? And I really like to also look at it from this perspective of, what would my future self do? Would she sit on the couch and watch TV, or would she go work out? And I think that's such a good way to look at it, because it allows you to think about your long-term vision rather than this kind of like short-term comfort zone. And asking, what would your future self do, comes from knowing that direction, that vision, where you want to go. So that's kind of the first step. Once you have that, then it's like, okay, what would she do? Would she go out and party this weekend? Or would she go on a hike and maybe have like one drink with a girlfriend in the afternoon? Okay, so it really does all come down to discipline, taking that aligned action. It's not about relying on motivation, because motivation will come and go. And also, figure out what actually does motivate you. For me, something that is so motivating to me is listening to these like motivational speeches. Sometimes podcasts are so motivational too, but there's this one in particular, I think it's like Motiversary or Motivation University or something like that. They have a YouTube channel, but they also have on Spotify. It hypes me up. But I'm this very intense person where I like that intensity. I want you to tell me to suck it up and do it. Well, everyone except Eric. Eric can't tell me that. For some reason, I don't know. We actually just had this conversation yesterday where he was like, I'm the one person that can't tell you to suck it up and do it. I'm like, I know. I don't know what that's about. But if my dad's like, suck it up and do it, I'm like, okay. If my brother's like, suck it up and do it, I'm like, okay, fine. But Eric, I'm like, I can't. Something about it. I don't know. But anyways, find things that motivate you and have those on repeat, have those on deck. For me, I woke up and I put a little bit of makeup on this morning, which made me feel a little bit more confident, ready to go, and as I did my meditation journaling, and then I put a headphone in and I listened to a motivational speech as I was like making coffee and making my smoothie. And I'm like getting fucking hyped. And so it's like finding those things that motivate you, and using them as tools when you're not so motivated. Maybe there's a podcast episode that you want to listen to that really hypes you up and you're like, oh, this makes me so excited about life. Have that saved so when you're not feeling motivated, you can listen to that. Because again, though, you can't rely on motivation or you will never get anywhere, because motivation is something that's like right now. And for a long-term vision, you can't rely on how you feel right now. You have to look at the bigger picture. So yes, motivation, I'm not relying on it. You shouldn't rely on it because it will always come and go. But I hope this episode was helpful. And I just wanted to share with you everything that I'm not doing because I think it's a good perspective. I think so often it's like, this is what you need to do. Okay. People know what they need to do, but sometimes we don't know what we need to not do. So I just wanted to shift your perspective a little bit and kind of give you some insight of what I'm not doing and what I am doing. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to rate and review, screenshot, share it with a friend, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. All of the links are in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one.